Frank Klose is live at the ballpark for Phillies home opener today as they get ready to take on the Washington Nationals. And, Frank, a disappointing start to the season. You're playing the worst team in baseball and lose 2 out of 3. It doesn't give people a lot of optimism just 3 games in.
Well, I think that the second game, the one that Eichhoff pitched, wasn't necessarily that much of a downer. We would have liked to see some offense from the Phillies. However, Eichhoff pitched a good game, and I think that was a really positive sign going forward.
He did, and obviously that was the day the offense really struggled there. And, a sign of what this season's going to look like. One day the bullpen, struggled, the offense struggled. It seems like a team that may be a little bit better than last year, but still has a lot of the same issues as last year.
It's funny. You can look at a game like the second game, Eichhoff's game, see a lot of positive in it, but at the end of the day, it's still a loss. So I think that the Phillies are going to be a lot better than their record might actually look at the end. I think you could take an Eichhoff start, which is as good as any Eichhoff start is going to be. He kind of gave you what you think he can do at his full potential. So you can move on from the 2017 season and think they really have something in Eichhoff. But at the same time, the offense might let them down, or the bullpen might let them down. So I wouldn't worry so much about wins and losses, but rather the progress that players like Eichhoff are making.
Yeah, we're talking with Frank Klose live at the ballpark here, 97.3 ESPN.com. Vince Velasquez pitching today. What kind of season are the Phillies and are you expecting from him? I mean, are they expecting him to jump, to more of a top-of-the-rotation type of guy?
I think at this point, the Phillies are still trying to figure out what they have in Velasquez. When we were speaking a year ago as the season opened, the question was, how efficient can he be with his pitches? Is he going to throw a lot of pitches? Is he going to worry about striking everybody out all the time? Or is he going to try to get out, throwing as few pitches as possible? And I think, we saw early, we had an encouraging start in April where he struck out 16 and pitched that shutout. And we thought, okay, well, maybe he is showing some progress. But then as the season went on, they had to shut him down because of high pitch counts. And, you look at his total innings, they're actually very small. So for all the talk about innings limits in baseball, the innings weren't the problem for Velasquez. It was how many pitches he was throwing in the innings that he did pitch. So I think they would like to see him be more efficient. And really, if he can't, then he might not be the type that would be in a starting rotation. They might try to make him a reliever. So I think that the Phillies are trying still to answer what they wanted to know last year. But at the same time, they think he really does have some talent. He does have a nice, lively fastball. And if they can really pull it all together, I mean, that's up to the coaching staff, he really could be something. And I think the Phillies and scouts throughout baseball really all kind of think the same thing about him. So hopefully he's able to learn, he's able to grow. And it's not a matter of talent. It's a matter of how well he can use his talent to get outs and to go deep into ball games.
Frank Klose with us talking Phillies baseball as the Phillies have their home opener with the Washington Nationals at 3:05 today. So, Frank, for the third straight season, 13 or more players on that opening day roster were not on the initial 25-man roster the year before. Phillies certainly having no problem turning over the roster in search of talent. Tell us about some of these faces that are in now and the guys that will be in the lineup today. Will they be able to step up and produce?
Well, you're going to see the Phillies starting lineup today for the home opener. They're going to put all the starters in. The last couple of days, they did give opportunities to some other players. Now, remains to be seen if Aaron Altair is going to be in a platoon with Michael Saunders, but I think they wanted to get him to start early. The backup catcher, Andrew Knapp, you usually give him a start, which is a day game after a night game, so he got that start. And, he wanted to get Daniel Nava into a game as well, and he had that nice game with 2 home runs. So I think they want to get into the groove where they have mostly the starters in, which, of course, include newcomers, Michael Saunders in right, Howie Kendrick in left, and really Tommy Joseph. This is his first time starting. And, he's off to a little bit of a tough start. I think what's, in terms of Kendrick and Saunders, they're there to be stable, provide some stability to the lineup. And Tommy Joseph, we're still trying to figure out who Tommy Joseph is. So Joseph could be a starting first baseman, or he could be somebody that needs to be in a platoon. So right now is the time for the Phillies to find that out. Now, they gave they gave Stassi a start for the same reason they gave Nava and Nat starts. I want to get an early look at them, but Joseph's going to be in there every day, and I think in terms of the lineup, that's the biggest change you're going to see. And a lot of those 13 players, 5 of them came from the bullpen. And Phillies are going to have a much more stable lineup this year. Brought in a couple of vets, Nishak and Benoit, that are really going to make the end of the game a lot easier for the Phillies. So as their young starters give you 6-7 innings, hopefully they won't be dejected as the bullpen blows it for them. So, that really will actually contribute a lot to the young starters' development, is just even being able to feel good about their starts and not see their leads slip away. So I think that will go a long way in 2017.
I saw a tweet this morning, Frank, that said the last time the Phillies had the Nationals as their home opener opponent, that they lost the game and Flash Gordon blew the save, but they went on to win the World Series that year. I don't think we're anywhere as optimistic that they're going to win the World Series, but they have lost 12 of their last 13 against the Nats. They lost 6 straight at home to the Nationals. Do they have a natitude problem?
Well, certainly over the last few years, the Nationals have become one of the toughest teams in the National League, certainly in the National League East. It doesn't get easy it's not very easy when you start against the likes of Max Scherzer. And, Steven Strasburg is still on the Nationals, and, he just tied for their all-time leader in wins. So the Nationals are pretty tough right now. I think when the Nationals began, what are we on, the 12th season of the Washington Nationals, it was a very, very different story. So luckily the Phillies were good back then as the Nats were down, and hopefully that'll flip-flop once again.
Frank Klose at the ballpark today for the Phillies taking on the Washington Nationals. I know we just played the soundbite of you, Frank, from Tuesday talking about Genmar Gomez, and he hasn't had another opportunity here. But obviously the bullpen did not get the job done the other day. I mean, that was a game where basically they have a chance to win that game. They're up 2-0, then they're up 4-1, and the bullpen just couldn't hold on there. So we thought this bullpen might be better. It seemed like they had some better options in that bullpen, but it seems like it's still a fluid situation back there.
Well, that loss was greatly attributable to Adam Morgan, who managed to give up a home run to a relief pitcher. That is not something that happens very often in Major League Baseball. So, sometimes maybe you take the relief pitcher too lightly that you're facing, but really and let's face it, it wasn't the best of starts for Clay Buchholz either. So I think it was a combination of those two things. Now Adam Morgan needs to show that he fits in this new role. When he came back from his shoulder surgeries, he was pitching with a little bit more velocity. And me personally, I thought maybe, if he went into a relief role where he didn't have to pitch 5 or 6 innings, he could come in with his best stuff and get some outs. Now, I don't want to completely panic so far. If you go back several years, there was one relief pitcher who blew 2 of the first 3 games in his season, and that was none other than Mariano Rivera, who went on to not blow another save the rest of the year. So it's a small sample size. Sometimes it takes getting into the rhythm of day-to-day baseball.